Alright, good morning everyone. We are here with break 343. Another NRL Traders combo break featuring 4 priority boxes, 4 hobby boxes, 2 half starter cases, 1 from 2024 retail and 1 from 2022. Other way around. 2024 is hobby, 2022 is a retail. So yeah, alright. Our team list. Feel like it's been a while since we've been live with the break. Broncos, Peter Lowe. Raiders, Stephen Gillard. Bulldogs, Josh Ellis. Sharks, Peter Lowe. Titans, Trent Kinnersley. Manly, Josh Ellis. Storm, Peter Lowe. Knights, Scott Grills. Cowboys, Trent Kinnersley. Eels, Peter Lowe. Panthers, Peter Clark. Rabbitohs, Liam Pritchard. Dragons, Stephen Gillard. Roosters, Keza Zanoni. Warriors and Tigers, Josh Ellis. Grab my sleeves. Let's get stuck into our starter packs. We will start with the 24 traders first. We have 10 of them. Alright. Good luck everyone. Let's go. Gold, number 24, Adam Fanua Blake in the Warriors. In the silver, number 79, Mikhail Ravalawa for the Dragons. I've made both pictures a slightly bit bigger. Number 97 in the bronze, Luke Keary for the Roosters. So hopefully that makes it easier. Another gold, number 34. Hamoli Olaka'atu for Manly. In the copper, number 144. I think I said bronze last time. Tyson Frizzell for the Knights. In the silver, number 20, Jason Taumalolo for the Cowboys. Another silver, 146, Shante Kira Rath. In the copper, number 17, Elliot Whitehead for the Raiders. Two starter packets left and we'll open our first lot of packets. Number 32 in the copper, Adam Fanua Blake for the Warriors. In the copper, 102, Jason Taumalolo for the Cowboys. Alright, let's move these back across the table. And we'll get stuck into these ones. Women's NRL, Shania Power for the Cowboys. Blake Brayley parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Jamal Fogarty for the Raiders. Blake Laurie parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Jada Ferguson for the Broncos. Eels parallel checklist. Christian Welsh parallel for the Storm. World in League, Jason Taumalolo for the Cowboys. G'day Alex, welcome mate. Alafiana Khan Piera parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Jack Howarth for the Storm. Ruben Cotter parallel for the Cowboys. Women's NRL, Elsie Albert for the Eels. Jacob Preston parallel for the Bulldogs. I don't know, the hobby seems to be easier to open. I've been opening them this morning and yesterday afternoon without an issue. Mikhail Ravalawa parallel for the Dragons. Season to remember, Tyrone Munro for the Rabbitohs. Knight Greg Marzhew parallel. Rising Stars, Carl Olapopu for the Bulldogs. Tamir Martin parallel for the Warriors. Parallel Valance to wear for the Dolphins. Don't forget, all Dolphins cards are randomized as one lot at the end of the break. We also have the bonus $50 gift card in this break. We added that to help get it done as quick as possible. Emma Manselman, Club Heroes for the Cowboys. Max King, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Sua Wong for the Roosters. Titans parallel checklist. We shut down from this Friday, 20th of December, till the 13th of January. So anyone that's planning on putting any orders in before then, try to get them done early Friday morning or Thursday at the latest. Ali Briggenshaw, Women's NRL for the Broncos. Micah Sivo, parallel for the Eels. Our Christmas present to you guys to say thank you, as the same as every year, is our Christmas code that starts at the beginning of January and runs for all of January. Luke Keary, World in League for the Roosters. Dream Buller, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Eliza for the Tigers. Manly Parallel Checklist. Valentine Holmes, season to remember for the Cowboys. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Zach Labour for the Cowboys. Jeremy Marshall King, parallel for Dolphins. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Parallel Wade Egan for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Brendan Smith for the Roosters. Oh, parallel, Jesse Ramian for the Sharks. Looking forward to using it. Yes. Showcase, Corey Horsburgh for the Raiders. Knights Parallel Checklist. I know for a fact people are already building their wish lists to use that code at the beginning of January. Season to remember, Selwyn Cobbo for the Broncos. Victor Radley, parallel for the Roosters. For things like that, the wish lists are good. When it comes time to make the purchase, you can add everything that's in stock from your wish list into your cart with one click. Isaiah Katoa, Rising Stars for the Dolphins. Big Papa, parallel for the Raiders. As well as if items are out of stock on your wish list, you get a notification if we happen to get them again. Isaiah Yo, parallel for Panthers. I like to say when, because we do buy a lot of older collections and things like that, but no guarantees what we'll get when we do that. Sword and Shield, Reece Welsh for the Broncos. Cody Walker, parallel for the Rabbits. Oh, sorry about that. That was out of nowhere. Rising Stars, Tallis Duncan for the Rabbitohs. Selwyn Cobbo, parallel for the Broncos. Come on, bunnies. Well, it's only early. Rising season to remember, Ewan Aiken for the Dolphins. Murray Talagi, parallel for the Cowboys. 2 packets left from our 24 Traders starter packets. Yeah, I have cards. Nice. World in League, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Regan Campbell Gillard, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Ella Costa for the Dragons. Addo Carr, parallel for the Bulldogs. And that is the end of those ones. We'll just push them over there. Let's get our 22 Traders starter packets out and done. One less thing in our way. Let's go. Star Tunes, a blue, Big Papa for the Raiders. In the green, 199 Tedesco for the Roosters. In the blue, crimson for the Titans. In the blue, foreign for Manly. In the pink, 118, Teddy for the Roosters. In the pink, 109, Harry Grant for the Storm. Some of the numbers are really hard, depending on what picture's in front of them, or behind them, I should say. In the green, 132, Dylan Zalesniak for the Warriors. In the black, 54, Tony Staggs for the Broncos. Alright, lucky last for our 22 starter packs. Front door. In the blue, Dylan Zalesniak for the Warriors. Alright, let's get stuck into our hobby boxes. 21 Traders is on. Oh no, stop. Got distracted. Sorry. Let's go with our 22 packets from the starter packs. Tony Staggs in the Power Heroes for the Broncos. I've been calling all them Star Tunes. They weren't. They were Power Heroes. Sorry, guys. Sione Katoa, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Harley Smith Shields for the Raiders. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Amali Olika R2, parallel for Manly. Black Master and Apprentice. No, not black, sorry. Uawi Stefano Utakamanu for the Tigers. God, they're difficult to tell apart. Mitchell Barnett, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Corey Norman for the Dragons. Knights Bradman Best Parallel. Rising Stars, Rocco Berry for the Warriors. Felice Kafusi, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Falakiku Manu for the Bulldogs. Ewan Aiken, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Tyson Smoothie for the Storm. Ronaldo Mulatalo, parallel for the Sharks. High Performance, Kyle Felt for the Cowboys. Tommy Talau, parallel for the Tigers. AJ Brimson, parallel for the Titans. Master and Apprentice, Joey Sawali for the Roosters. Bulldogs, parallel checklist. High Performance, Nick Meaney for the Bulldogs. Joseph Sawali, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Will Penasini for the Eels. Keon Kolamatangi, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Dominic Young for the Knights. Eels, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Tolator Amon for the Dragons. Chance Nico Klokstad, parallel for the Raiders. Season to remember, Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Tigers, Luke Brooks, parallel. Parallel, Jason Saab for Manly. Rising Stars, Matthew Tomoko for the Raiders. Kevin Proctor, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Bailey Biondi Otto for the Bulldogs. Brian To'o, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Valami Avile for the Warriors. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Club Heroes, Helam Lukey for the Cowboys. Luke Thompson, parallel for the Bulldogs. Power Heroes, Nick Kotrick for the Bulldogs. Kenny Bromwich, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Franklin Pillay for the Sharks. Blake Laurie, parallel for the Dragons. 4 packets left out of our 20 2 Traders starter packets. Retirement, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Tukumea Simpkins for the Tigers. Joseph Tarpanay, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Jajan Assi for the Cowboys. Luciano Aleilua, parallel for the Tigers. Last packet. Parallel Ryan Madison for the Eels to finish us off. Alright, let's get these ones out of the way and go back to our 21 Traders Hobby Box. We did start to open it. Let's go. Parallel Wade Graham for the Sharks. Wildcard Dylan Napa for the Bulldogs. Philip Semi, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars Bailey Sirenen for the Rabbitohs. Michael Morgan, parallel for the Cowboys. White Authentics, number 59, Toby Rudolph for the Sharks. Parallel Jake Trbojevic for Manly. Season to remember Adam Reynolds for the Rabbitohs. Kurt Mann, parallel for the Knights. Jack Whiten, parallel for the Raiders. Star Tunes, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. David Fusitua, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Trayman Spry for the Titans. Kenny Bromwich, parallel for the Storm. Club Heroes, Victor Radley for the Roosters. Mitchell Moses, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Benji Marshall for the Tigers. Tohu Harris, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Mitchell Dunn for the Cowboys. James Fisher-Harris, parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Josh Mansour for Panthers. Luke Brooks, parallel for the Tigers. Luke Thompson, parallel for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Isaac Loom for Storm. Roosters, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Dylan Brown for the Eels. Herbie Farmworth, parallel for the Broncos. Wildcard, Luke Keary for the Roosters. Chance Nicole Klokstad, parallel for the Raiders. Parallel, Jaden Sewer for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Sean Bloor for the Tigers. Thomas Flegler, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Bradman Best for the Knights. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Daniel Saifiti, parallel for the Knights. Team Wildcard for the Panthers. Storm parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Pawasa for the Roosters. Regan Campbell-Gillard, parallel for the Eels. Wildcard, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Cameron McInnes, parallel for the Dragons. White Streeter, Mitchell Barnett for the Knights. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Jermaine Tanua Brown for the Warriors. Sione Katoa, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember, Mitchell Orbison for the Roosters. Tommy Talau, parallel for Tigers. Rising Stars, Max Feagai for the Dragons. Adam Elliott, parallel for the Bulldogs. Startoons, Elliot Whitehead for the Raiders. Will Hopawate, parallel for the Bulldogs. White Streeter, Moses Mbai for the Tigers. Tanner Boyd, parallel for the Titans. Parallel, Corey Oates for the Broncos. Wildcard, Paul Vaughan for the Dragons. Josh Hodgson, parallel for the Raiders. Season to remember, Chanel Harris Tavita for the Warriors. Jason Tormalolo, parallel for the Cowboys. We've got 4 packets left for our first 21 Traders Hobby Box. Rising Stars, Caleb Aikens for Panthers. Ken Momalo, parallel for the Warriors. Black Streeter, Moses Mbai for the Tigers. Josh Morris, parallel for the Roosters. Season to remember, Cody Ramsey for the Dragons. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Xavier Coates for the Broncos. Zach Lomax parallel for Dragons. And that's the end of our first 21 Traders Hobby Box. We'll push these, or we'll put these back in the box, push them to the side, and we'll get stuck into our second one. There we go. Alright, second box of 21 Traders Hobby. Rising Stars, Hammer Fido for the Cowboys. Raymond Fatala Mariner, parallel for the Bulldogs. Wildcard, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. Dylan Edwards, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Tavita Funa for Manly. Bradman Best, parallel for the Knights. Black Streeter, Cody Nikarima for the Warriors. Brendan Smith, parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Katoni Staggs for Broncos. Eels parallel checklist. Rising Stars, William Kennedy for the Sharks. Isaiah Yeo, parallel for Panthers. Luciano Leilua, parallel for the Tigers. Season to remember, Toby Rudolph for the Sharks. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, parallel for the Knights. Bo Fermor, Rising Stars for the Titans. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for the Storm. Wildcard, David Clemmer for the Knights. Bulldogs parallel checklist. Star Tunes, Ashley Taylor for the Titans. David Clemmer, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Asuka Poa for the Tigers. Xavier Coates, parallel for the Broncos. Premiership Predictor, number 118 for the Bunnies. Big Papa, parallel for the Raiders. Fortunately, Predictors 2021 Panthers is the only one still redeemable. But personally, I do like the way they look. Season to remember, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Jazz Tavega, parallel for the Warriors. Junior Paulo, parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Nico Hines for Storm. Angus Crichton, parallel for Roosters. Club Heroes, Cameron McInnes for the Dragons. Campbell Graham, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Adam Pompey for the Warriors. Paul Vaughan, parallel for the Dragons. Season to remember, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Wildcard, Scott Drinkwater for the Cowboys. Brad Parker, parallel for Manly. White Streeter, CSO Takahawi for the Roosters. I could never get that one. Alex Twal, parallel for the Tigers. Had a couple of people originally try and help me with the phonetics of it, but I could never get it down pat. Season to remember, Josh Jackson for the Bulldogs. Jake Turpin, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Oregon Kafusi for the Eels. George Williams, parallel for the Raiders. Parallel, Roger Tuivasa Sheck for the Warriors. Team Wildcard for the Knights. Jake Friend, parallel for the Roosters. Startoons, Cameron Murray for the Rabbitohs. Brian Kelly, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Kai O'Donnell for the Raiders. Adam Reynolds, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Keon Kolomatangi for the Rabbitohs. The Hammer, parallel for Cowboys. White Streeter, Jake Trbojevic for Manly. Head to the 21. Ben Hunt, parallel for the Dragons. Sorry, mate. Season to remember, Jack Whiten for the Raiders. Aaron Woods, parallel for the Sharks. Curtis Sirenen, parallel for Manly. 4 packets left for our second 21 Traders Hobby Box. Rising Stars, Matt Dory for Bulldogs. Ashley Taylor, parallel for the Titans. Kyle Felt, parallel for the Cowboys. Wildcard, Corey Oates for the Broncos. Cade Cust, parallel for Manly. Titans, parallel checklist. Last packet for the box. Rising Stars, Tex Hoy for the Knights. And Reese Robson, parallel for the Cowboys. Once again, let's tidy these up. I think we're going to go through the priority boxes. We're going to do 21, 22, and 23. Then we'll do our 24 Traders Hobby before we do the 24 Traders Priority. Alright, let's go. Tommy Dearden, parallel for the Broncos. Season to remember, Benji Marshall for the Tigers. Cody Nikarima, parallel for the Warriors. Wildcard, Paul Vaughan for the Dragons. Joseph Tarpanay, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Isaac Loomy for Storm. Tucker Howie, parallel for the Roosters. Street Art, Mitchell Barnett for the Knights. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Team Wildcard, priority number 43 for the Eels. Peter Lowe. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Caleb Aikens for Panthers. Warriors, parallel checklist. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Black Street Art, Mitchell Latrell Mitchell for the Rabbitohs. Luke Keary, parallel for the Roosters. Wildcard, David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Matt Duffy, parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Pawasa for the Roosters. Blake Ferguson, parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Cody Ramsey for the Dragons. Dane Gagai, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Rising Stars, Jermaine Tanua Brown for the Warriors. Jesse Ramian, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Xavier Coates for Broncos. Tarek Sims, parallel for the Dragons. White Streeter, Moses Mbai for the Tigers. Jamal Fogarty, parallel for the Titans. Parallel, Sean Johnson for the Sharks. Season to remember, Chanel Harris-Tavita for the Warriors. Josh Maguire, parallel for the Cowboys. Wildcard, Dylan Napa for the Bulldogs. Mawaki Fodawaka, parallel for the Titans. Star Tunes Group B will be randomized at the end of the break between Cowboys, Eels, Panthers, Rabbitohs, Dragons, Roosters, and Warriors, Tigers. Dallin Martina Zalesniak, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Mitchell Orbison for the Roosters. Josh Alawai, parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Sean Bloor for the Tigers. Payne Haas, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Max Feagai for the Dragons. Dylan Napa, parallel for the Bulldogs. Raiders, parallel checklist. Mitchell Pearce, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Bailey Sirenen for the Rabbitohs. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for Cowboys. Season to remember, Adam Reynolds for the Bunnies. Knights, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Trayman Spry for the Titans. Cameron Munster, parallel for Storm. White Authentics, number 42. Josh Kerr for the Dragons with Stephen Gillard. Tavita Funa, parallel for Manly. Priority Club Hero. Number 16, Toby Rudolph for the Sharks. Reid Marnie, parallel for the Eels. Star Tunes, Angus Crichton for the Roosters. Tohu Harris, parallel for the Warriors. Wildcard, Luke Keary for the Roosters. Jack Whiten, parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Dylan Brown for the Eels. Thomas Flegler, parallel for Broncos. Parallel, Will Hopper-Wate for the Bulldogs. 3 packets left for our 21 Traders Hobby Box. Rising Stars, Mitchell Dunn for the Cowboys. Apasai Coruscant, parallel for Panthers. Parallel, Joseph Leilua for the Tigers. Season to remember, Josh Mansell for Panthers. That was good. Rising Stars, Bradman Best for the Knights, and Manly parallel checklist. Alright, once again, we'll tidy these up. We're going to continue with the priority boxes. Like I said, we'll do 2022 and 2023 before doing our 24 Traders Hobby Boxes. Let's go. Season to remember, Jaden Brayley for the Knights. Cameron Murray, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Parallel Raiders checklist. Rising Stars, Keenan Palacia for the Broncos. Chanel Harris-Tavita, parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Sam Walker for the Roosters. Angus Crichton, parallel for the Roosters. Parallel, Luke Thompson for the Bulldogs. Rising Stars, Falakiku Manu for the Bulldogs. Liam Martin, parallel for Panthers. High Performance, Will Hopper-Wate for the Bulldogs. Tyson Gamble, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Will Penasini for the Eels. Big Papa, parallel for the Raiders. Master and Apprentice Joseph Sawali for the Roosters. Warriors Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars Toltol Amon for the Dragons. Teddy for the Roosters, Parallel. Parallel Toby Rudolph for the Sharks. Team High Performance, number 27, Mikhail Ravalawa for the Dragons. Parallel Stefano Utakamanu, parallel for Tigers. Season to remember, Ruben Garrick for Manly. Brian Tyler, parallel for Panthers. Master and Apprentice Black. Isaiah Yo, number 19 for the Panthers. Remember, that is the priority version. Parallel Thomas Flegler for the Broncos. Parallel Sione Katoa for the Sharks. Rising Stars Murray Talagi for the Cowboys. Mitchell Moses parallel for the Eels. Season to remember, Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Dragons parallel checklist. Rising Stars Dominic Young for the Knights. Reese Robson parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars Tukamia Simpkins for the Tigers. Daniel Tupou parallel for the Roosters. Club Heroes Blake Taff for the Rabbitohs. Jerome Luai parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Tony Staggs parallel for Broncos. Season to remember, Blake Ferguson for the Eels. William Kennedy parallel for the Sharks. Parallel David Nofaluma for the Tigers. Parallel Kalen Ponga for the Knights. Master High Performance Jordan Rapana for the Raiders. Ryan Pappenhausen parallel for Storm. Rising Stars Tyson Smoothie for Storm. Junior Paulo parallel for the Eels. High performance Valentine Holmes for the Cowboys. Jack Bird, parallel for Dragons. Power Heroes, Brian To'o for Panthers. Valentine Holmes, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Franklin Pele for the Sharks. Daniel Saifiti, parallel for the Knights. Silver Authentics, Bailey Simonson, number 37 for the Eels, for the Raiders. God, I'm having a shot. Harry Grant, parallel for Storm. Master and Apprentice, Stefano Utikamanu for the Tigers. Parallel, Josh Schuster for Manly. Rising Stars, Harley Smith Shields for the Raiders. Corey Thompson, parallel for the Titans. Season to remember, Corey Norman for the Dragons. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Rising Stars, Rocco Berry for the Warriors. Titans, parallel checklist. High performance, Payne Haas for the Broncos. Tavita Tola, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Alright, last packet for the box. I am going to quickly get up and grab a drink after this one. Another Group B for the Power Heroes. That'll be randomized between those same teams mentioned on the last one. Jack Hetherington, parallel for the Bulldogs. Alright, as I said, I'm just going to quickly grab a drink so I can stand up. But yeah, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I just needed to reset. I was, yeah. Let's go. Let's clean these ones up. Quick spurt in front of the aircon out there. Fresh drink. Let's go. 23 Traders Priority Box. We've got 4 boxes in total left to go. Excuse me. Women's NRL. Olivia Koenig for the Roosters. Jaden Sewer parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Simi Sasagi for the Knights. Jacob Saifiti parallel for the Knights. Funny, I just watched myself walk away. Driving Force, Kennedy Sherrington for the Eels. Joseph Tarpanay parallel for the Raiders. Driving Force, Jack Bellin for the Dragons. Jordan Rapana parallel for the Raiders. Priority Driving Force team number 9 for the Tigers. I lost my team list. I changed Windows to mute. There we are. Cody Walker parallel for the Rabbitohs. Gold parallel, Keon Kolomatangi for the Rabbitohs, number 4. Tommy Duden parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, James Schiller for the Raiders. Wade Egan parallel for the Warriors. Season to remember, Selwyn Cobbo for the Broncos. Tony Staggs parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Jesse Colquhoun for the Sharks. Jai Arrow parallel for the Rabbitohs. Retirements, Aiden Tolman for the Sharks. Panthers parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Sosefo Fafita for the Titans. Valentine Holmes parallel for the Cowboys. Women's NRL, Kamora Brealey Natty for the Titans. Josh Curran parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Declan Casey for the Bulldogs. Daly Cherry Evans parallel for Manly. Power Heroes, Ruben Garrick for Manly. Dane Laurie parallel for the Tigers. Forwards and backs. No number. Are they black? No. The whites are the parallels. That's right. Zach Lomax for the Dragons. Jared Hargraves, parallel for the Roosters. Women's NRL Paige McGregor for the Dragons. Jacob Carraz, parallel for the Bulldogs. Dolphins, number 8. Thomas Flegler, parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Grant Anderson for the Storm. Liam Martin, parallel for the Panthers. Women's NRL, Julia Robinson for the Broncos. Big Tino, parallel for Titans. Rising Stars, Zach Fulton for Manly. Parallel, Regan Campbell-Gillard for the Eels. Rising Stars, Trent Peoples for the Rabbitohs. Ben Hunt, parallel for the Dragons. Driving Force, Alex Twal for the Tigers. Nelson Asafa Solomona, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Freddie Lussick for the Warriors. Sharks, parallel checklist. Keon Colton-Matangi, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Women's NRL, Millie Boyle for the Knights. Adam Pompey, parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Tom Chester for the Cowboys. Broncos, parallel checklist. Priority Club Heroes, number 6. Tara McGrath West for the Dragons. Sifa Talakai, parallel for the Sharks. Season to remember. CSF Talakai for the Sharks. And Nari Tawala, parallel for the Knights. Rising Stars, Matthew Feagai for the Dragons. Roosters, parallel checklist. Forwards and backs, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. Jake Averillo, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Taylor May for Panthers. Dylan Edwards, parallel for Panthers. Driving force, Damien Cook for the Rabbitohs. Ryan Madison, parallel for the Eels. And our priority forwards and backs, number 13, Molly Olika R2. Parallel, Cameron Munster for Storm. Our heroes, Regan Campbell-Gillard for the Eels. Noah Pole, parallel for the Tigers. 2 packets left in our 23 Traders Priority Box. Rising Stars, Selwyn Cobbo for the Broncos. Felt semi-parallel for the Titans. Women's NRL, Tiana Penatani for the Eels. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Alright, let's do our 224 Traders Hobby Boxes before we do the priority. Excuse me. Rising Stars, Ryan Couchman for the Dragons. Zach Lomax, parallel for the Dragons. Showcase Group A. So it's randomized between Broncos, Raiders, Bulldogs, Sharks, Titans, Manly, Storm, and Knights. Jesse Bromwich, parallel for Dolphins. Season to remember, Adam Reynolds for the Broncos. Jermaine Hopgood, parallel for the Eels. Excuse me, Patil Avet Welsh, Women's NRL for the Tigers. Toby Sexton, parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Sean Johnson for the Warriors. Katoni Staggs, parallel for Broncos. Rising Stars, Ryan Rivet for the Knights. Big Tino, parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Thomas Hazelton for the Sharks. Latrell Mitchell, parallel for the Rabbitohs. World in League, Saiteli Tupanua for the Roosters. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for the Cowboys. Women's NRL, Holly May Dodd for the Raiders in the gold, number 27. Rabbitohs Parallel Checklist. Rising Stars Robert Derby for the Cowboys. Ryan Madison parallel for the Eels. Isaiah Tass, season to remember for the Rabbitohs. Jackson Hastings parallel for the Knights. World in League, Adam Fanua Blake for the Warriors. Jacob Carraz parallel for the Bulldogs. Season to remember, Tyrone Peachy for Panthers. Milwaukee Fodawaika parallel for Titans. Club Heroes Will Warbrick for Storm. Hamafido parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars Raymond Vega for Manly. Chad Townsend parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars Sanua Taruva for Panthers. Patrick Carrigan parallel for the Broncos. World in League parallel Basana Lutu for the Tigers. Damien Cook parallel for the Rabbitohs. Retirements Josh Hodgson for the Eels. Broncos parallel checklist. Season to remember, Bradman Best for the Knights. Daly Cherry Evans parallel for Manly. Rising Stars Tane for the Warriors. John Bateman parallel for the Tigers. Jeremy Marshall King gold parallel for the Dolphins, number 69. And he's a hooker. Liam Martin parallel for the Panthers. World in League, Georgia Hale for the Titans. Brighton Nakora parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Holly May Dodd for the Raiders. Daniel Tupou parallel for the Roosters. Club Heroes, Emma Manzelman for the Cowboys. Corey Horsburgh parallel for the Raiders. Women's NRL, Jessie Southwell for the Knights. Warriors parallel checklist. Sword and Shield, Isaiah Papali'i for the Tigers. Harry Grant, parallel for the Storm. Rising Stars, Wiremu Grigg for the Eels. Phoenix Crossland, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Valant to wear for the Dolphins. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. World in League, April Nagatubuna for the Cowboys. David Clemmer, parallel for the Tigers. I am shocking at pronouncing names. Rising Stars, Xavier Willison for the Broncos. Ruben Garrick, parallel for Manly. Sword and Shield, Cameron McInnes for the Sharks. Joey Manu, parallel for the Roosters. Sword and Shield team for the Dragons. Sharks, parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Will Warbrick for the Storm. Joseph Tarpanay, parallel for the Raiders. Three packets left for the Hobby Box. Holly Wheeler, Women's NRL for the Sharks. Nick Meaney, parallel for Storm. Leaving one Hobby Box and one Priority, both for 24 Traders. Rising Stars, Sienna Lofipu for the Titans. Adam Fanua Blake, parallel for the Warriors. Lucky last packet for the box. Showcase Felice Kafusi for the Dolphins and Dragons parallel checklist. Alright, our last hobby box for the break. Rising Stars, Benjamin Lovett for the Rabbitohs. Adam Fanua Blake parallel for the Warriors. Showcase Reed Marnie for the Bulldogs. Harry Grant parallel for Storm. Season to remember, Cameron McInnes for the Sharks. Sharks parallel checklist. Season to remember, Mackenzie Wiki for the Raiders. Corey Horsburgh parallel for the Raiders. Women's NRL, Abby Church for the Eels. David Clemmer parallel for the Tigers. Rising Stars, Jonah Pezzett for the Storm. Daniel Tupou parallel for the Roosters. Retirements, Brad Takarangi for the Eels. Rising Stars, Jacob Preston for the Bulldogs. Oh, parallel, Ruben Garrick for Manly. World in League, Jacob Carraz for the Bulldogs. Nathan Cleary, parallel for Panthers. Women's NRL Gold, Georgia Roach, 184 for the Knights. Joey Manu, parallel for the Roosters. Rising Stars, Trey Mooney for the Raiders. Sifa Talakai, parallel for the Sharks. World in League, Luke Keary for the Roosters. Sean Bloor, parallel for the Tigers. Season to remember, Mia Wood for the Roosters. Dragons, parallel checklist. Season to remember, Kieran Foran for the Titans. Tommy Turbo, parallel for Manly. Club Heroes, Sarah Togatuki for the Tigers. Nick Meaney, parallel for Storm. Rising Stars, Ella Costa for the Dragons. James Fisher-Harris, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Jareem Buller for the Tigers. Joseph Tarpanay, parallel for the Raiders. World in League, parallel, Meli Hafunga for the Broncos. Lindsay Collins, parallel for the Roosters. Running Machines, Herbie Farnworth for the Broncos, number 93. Hudson Young, parallel for the Raiders. Broncos, gold parallel checklist, number 74. The Broncos gold parallels were definitely popular this year, that's for sure. Rabbitohs parallel checklist. Rising Stars, Dean Madison for Manly. Big Tino, parallel for the Titans. Season to remember, Luke Brooks for the Tigers. Scott Drinkwater, parallel for the Cowboys. Rising Stars, Terrell May for the Roosters. Patrick Carrigan, parallel for the Broncos. World in League, Adam Dewey for the Tigers. Toby Sexton parallel for the for the Bulldogs. Club Heroes, Rumu Grigg for the Eels. The Hammer parallel for Dolphins. Women's NRL, Shanae Siasolka for the Broncos. Jermaine Hopgood parallel for the Eels. Sword and Shield, Nathan Cleary for Panthers. Jackson Hastings parallel for Knights. Rising Stars for the Cowboys. Zach Lomax parallel for Dragons. Rising Stars, Ruby Jean for the Eels. Chad Townsend parallel for the Cowboys. Season to remember, Matt Burton for the Bulldogs. Damien Cook parallel for the Rabbitohs. World in League, Shante Ratu for the Titans. Mawaki Fodawaika parallel for the Titans. We're up to our 6th last packet in our last hobby box for break 343. We do have our priority. Did I just say 23? No, 24. Sword and Shield, Sean Johnson for the Warriors. Broncos parallel checklist. But yeah, we do have our 24 Traders Priority Box left for last. Rising Stars, Ronald Volkman for the Warriors. Jermaine Isako parallel for Dolphins. Sword and Shield team for the Cowboys. Jacob Carraz parallel for the Bulldogs. Women's NRL, Tamika Upton for the Knights. Jacob Saifiti parallel for the Knights. Showcase Jaden Campbell for the Titans. Dallin Watine Zalesniak parallel for the Warriors. Last packets for the box. Rising Stars, Jada Taylor for the Sharks. And Ryan Madison parallel for the Eels. Alright, last box. Rising Stars, Isaiah Katoa for the Dolphins Eels parallel checklist. Season to remember, Sean Johnson. Jacob Preston parallel for the Bulldogs. Showcase Reece Walsh for the Broncos. Alifiana Kampi error parallel for the Titans. Rising Stars, Anessa Biddle for the Sharks. Ruben Cotter parallel for the Cowboys. Women's NRL, Ivania Elite for the Titans. Cameron Murray parallel for the Rabbitohs. World in League, Semi Valemi for the Cowboys. Adam Reynolds parallel for the Broncos. Rising Stars, Cassie Hiku for the Eels. Jeremy Marshall King parallel for the Dolphins. Season to remember, Bradman Best for the Knights. Knights parallel checklist. Gold parallel, Damien Cook for the Rabbitohs. Number 62. Wade Egan parallel for the Warriors. Rising Stars, Mona Lisa Soliola for the Raiders. Jesse Ramian parallel for the Sharks. Club Hero Priority, number 16, Shannon Nato for the Titans. Episode Coruscant parallel for the Tigers. Sword and Shield, Ruben Garrick for Manly. Parallel, Lachlan Croker for Manly. Women's Gold parallel, Gail Broughton for Broncos, number 79. Excuse me. Mitchell Moses parallel for the Eels. Rising Stars, Connor Mulhayson for the Dragons. Isaac Tago parallel for Panthers. Season to remember, Adam Reynolds for the Broncos. Roosters parallel checklist. Women's NRL, Samima Torfa for the Raiders. Jamal Fogarty parallel for the Raiders. Rising Stars, Dylan Lucas for the Knights. Jerome Hughes parallel for Storm. World in League, Melly Hafunga for the Broncos. Jack DeBellin parallel for the Dragons. Rising Stars, Lindsay Smith for Panthers. Matt Burton parallel for the Bulldogs. Club Heroes, Number 25, Will Warbrick for Storm. Parallel, David Fafita for the Titans. Season to remember, Isaiah Tass for the Rabbitohs. Reese Robson, parallel for Cowboys. Rising Stars, Alifiana Kampi era for the Titans. Jai Arrow, parallel for the Rabbitohs. Sword and Shield Team Priority number 11 for the Storm. Parallel, Kurt Capewell for the Broncos. Retirements, James Tamo for the Tigers. Parallel, Bulldogs checklist. World in League, Mikhail Ravalawa for the Dragons. Tom Gilbert, parallel for the Dolphins. Rising Stars, Brendan Pakura for the Broncos. Kalen Ponga, parallel for the Knights. Season to remember, Valance to wear for Dolphins. Jackson Ford, parallel for the Warriors. Sword and Shield Addo Carr for the Bulldogs. William Kennedy, parallel for the Sharks. Rising Stars, Tiana for the Cowboys. Tigers, parallel checklist. Women's NRL, Tara McGrath West for the Dragons. Jake Trbojevic, parallel for Manly. Priority World in League number 8. Anessa Diddle for the Sharks. Parallel, Clint Gutherson for the Eels. Our 5th last packet for the break. Showcase Campbell Graham for the Rabbitohs. Dylan Edwards, parallel for Panthers. Rising Stars, Gordon Tong for Manly. James Tedesco, parallel for the Roosters. World in League, Jerome Hughes for Storm. Matthew Tomoko, parallel for the Raiders. Season to remember, Tyrone Peachy for the Panthers. Cameron Munster, parallel for Storm. Now, will this be a lucky last? Let's find out. Rising Stars, Hopawate for the Roosters. And Jaden Sewer, parallel for the Dragons. Alright, well, we have a few randomizations to do. We have the bonus $50 gift card. We have the Dolphins cards, including the Jeremy Marshall King Gold Parallel number 69. They'll be randomized as one lot. We then have 21 Traders Star Tunes Group B. 22 Traders Power Heroes Group B. And 24 Traders Showcase Group A. So they'll be randomized between the relevant 8 teams. And I think that's it. So let's get into it. We'll flick over screens. We'll randomize the $50 gift card to start off with, following with the Dolphins cards because they're both all teams. And then we will change it up at the end. Alright, once again, $50 gift card. Here we go. Number 1, number 2, and lucky last, number 3, Josh Ellis with the Warriors. Sorry, I am writing that down in front of me so I do not forget at the end. This time for our Dolphins cards. Number 1, number 2, and lucky last, number 3, Liam Pritchard with the Rabbitohs. Alright, let's work through them. We have our 21 Traders Group A. So what we do, oops, almost stuffed it on me. Alright, so that will be our Group A cards right there. Number 1, number 2, and lucky last, number 3, Storm, Peter Lowe. I'll do that same one again, this time for the 22 Traders Power Heroes. Oh, no. Sorry, Peter. Wrong. Other way around. There we go. Alright. 21 Traders Star Tunes Group B with the relevant teams. Number 1, number 2, and number 3, Dragons. Repeat that same one again, this time for the 22 Traders. Number 1, number 2, and number 3, Stephen Gillard with the Dragons again. Alright, last but not least, Showcase Group A, which is our first 8 teams. Alright, 1, 2, lucky last, Josh Ellis with Manly. There we go. Alright guys, that's it. That's all. Hope you had a ball. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you next time. Unfortunately, that will probably be after the break in January. So have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you all again